welcome to the Level Up Sports Talk Show. I'm your host, John. I have my analyst for the night, Mr. West, and I also have Ahmad bringing you some much needed sports talk. We're going to deal with the NFL. We've got a lot going on. We had the Eagles game earlier against the Washington Commanders, and we've got a lot of movement with the head coaches around the league. So we'll jump into that as well as some early Super Bowl talk. And we'll also get into some NBA talk that happened earlier in this week. But first, for the night, we got the first question, and that is around the NFL head coaches. First question for you guys is: there have been several new head coaches around the NFL. Dallas Cowboys, Brian Schottenheimer was selected as the head coach there. The Vegas Raiders selected Pete Carroll. Ben Johnson moved over from the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions over to the Chicago Bears head coach. Aaron Glenn, who was the defensive coordinator for the Lions, is now the New York Jets head coach. And the Jacksonville Jaguars selected Liam Cohen, who is the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we're still awaiting to hear what the New Orleans Saints will come up with for their head coach. Now, the question is, which coach do you think will have the most success after these hirings? We'll go ahead and start with you, and then we'll go to Wes, and then I'll go last on the first question.
Okay, so I can look at it two different ways. On paper, the Cowboys and the Jaguars should have a better team on paper. I honestly, I think group, I trust probably the Jets to have the better record, to be honest with you, because Aaron Glenn played for him. He was drafted by him. He was all pro for him. He was a scout for him. So he has history with the city, with the fans. People know him. I would love to say the Raiders. You already know this, but I'm realistic. It ain't happening this year. I would say Jacksonville took a step back with the injury to Trevor Lawrence. I really think Doug Peterson got screwed. I mean, but coaches aren't like they used to be. They don't have time to like turn a team around. Cowboys, I don't really trust Schottenheimer like that. If he's anything like his father, Marty Schottenheimer had some great teams, but he never could like get to the Super Bowl. The Kansas City teams were all wonderful. The San Diego teams were wonderful. The Washington Redskins, but I just say the Jets. At that group, I'll say the Jets. Definitely not the Saints. So if you know I'm a Saints fan, don't get mad at me. I'm just being honest. That's it.
All right. So you don't have no hope, no faith in your Raiders team with Pete Carroll?
No, man. Like this, they're gonna win more games. They'll win more games next year, but I don't see them having the best record out those group you named. But they will be, they'll probably at least 8-8.
All right. Yeah. So you like Aaron Glenn and the Jets?
Yeah, I like Aaron Glenn.
What do you say, Wes?
Well, I think sample size wise, I mean, I like Carroll. I think Carroll's going to be a great addition, even though he's 74. Of course, we have 80-year-old presidents these days, so I mean, my man's got some, he's got some longevity in him, I feel.
Oh, yeah.
But I'd like to see what they do in the draft, honestly. I mean, they go out and they get, Shadur or someone, and it'd be pretty interesting. I mean, because we know he can manage, and he's got some pretty decent talent there. He loves to run the ball, unless it's 4th and 1 in the Super Bowl. But other than that, I took a gamble going for Zamir White this year, thinking he was going to be a stud for me, and it pretty much cost me my season. But I like Carroll. I'd like to see what they do there, but I think the best situation for the new coaches coming in is going to be Johnson with the Bears. I mean, they lost a lot of games by just one bonehead play or a turnover away. I mean, they were easily could have been a 10-win team or better, and it just didn't fall. But I think he has the best chance. And as far as coaches getting back into, I think really, I mean, Peterson, I'd like to see him get in somewhere. I'd like to see Lovie Smith back in the league. And I think he'd be a pretty good candidate for that for the Saints job. Honestly, I think that would fit him pretty well. But Belichick myself, too. I don't know if he's, the ink's dry yet at UNC, but it's just I like it. I liked it a lot when it was. I'm glad Carroll's back. I'm glad we got some new talent and stuff in. And but I'd like to see what happens in the draft.
All right. So my take on it for this head coaching decision, I'm with you on the Ben Johnson to the Chicago Bears. The reason being, the offense that he's created for the Detroit Lions basically have kept them in the hunt
Mm,
the last couple of years. Um, for what Chicago Bears need, they need more consistency, easier, how can I say, strategy, offensive strategy that makes it simple
mm,
for Caleb Williams, so he doesn't have to do a lot of
mm,
thinking. He can just play fast. If you notice when he played in college football, he played fast and he can make quick decisions. He's going to be the best with the ball. He's not going to be creating turnovers with the ball because he's not having to think so much. He can just get the ball out. He know where the ball is going to or what his second or third option is. And then if he doesn't have anything, throw it away or tuck it and run. It's either or. So Ben Johnson, I think, is going to take some of that same strategy that he had with the Detroit Lions. I do believe they're going to be a team that's going to run the ball, play action off of it, but it's going to create big plays down the field with his style of coaching. So I agree with you, Wes, about Ben Johnson being the one that's going to have the most success.
mm.
All right, so we'll go ahead and move right into the next question.
Wait a minute, real quick, John. I mean,
Go
cut
ahead.
y'all. I was muted. Only reason I didn't say Chicago because I noticed the last couple of coaches who have been gurus, like Adam Gaze and the other guy, I can't think of his name, like supposed to be like offensive minded geniuses. They all like just crashed and burned in Chicago. And then you have a defensive minded coach like Lovie Smith or what's the guy named John Fox? What's his name? John Fox.
John Fox,
Fox,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Like they like and they was like, I mean, the Chicago Bears have better time, but defensive minded coach is opposed to like offensive minded coach. I don't know why. Just why I didn't choose Ben Johnson. Not saying he's not a great coach. I don't know. I just don't trust Chicago. Chicago's like a hard hitting city. No, they pretty much their style of coach needs to be like a Dick or something like that. But I guess we'll see.
All right, and I understand. Yeah, a lot of times, we always think about the past and kind of what that was and what that looked like. Hey, you never know. We also see, we have the coaches like, Campbell with the Lions, and I mean the guy, his personality is pretty much inbred in the whole staff, organization, all of it. So I think whoever that coach is, his personality.
But
Once he sets the tone with that and just be himself, doesn't matter. You don't have to be anybody else.
plus Chicago's a
Just be
hard city
yourself,
too.
and I think everything else
Like,
will just fall in place with it.
yeah, Chicago's a tough city to coach in, kind of like Philly. It's just the crowd expects every year for you to be like in a contention.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with
It's
that.
well, we were saying the same thing about Detroit Lions about 3 to 4 years ago, and then everything changed. But we
Yeah,
shall see. We shall see. It's that's why it's exciting time, especially when you have a lot of movement going around with the NFL. All right, and that goes and takes us to the second question for the night. And that question is, who, in your opinion, will be the best candidate for the New Orleans Saints job? Wes, I'll start with you, then I'll go to Amon, and then I'll finish up.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I think Lovey Smith. I like to see him get back in and take over that team and build it up like he did back in the day. What he did for the Bears and also the what he did for Illinois, I think was uh, a really good job out there.
Mhm.
I don't know if anyone's reached out, but I mean that would be a top candidate for me. And then looking at that ordeal in Jacksonville. Uh, I mean, Peterson, but Mike McCarthy. I mean, McCarthy Super Bowl winning coach. I mean, you know, he might mesh pretty well down there in Nolans, but I don't know, man. I tell you, I like the league with those guys in it, and I mean, there's still some time. Maybe they can find something, but I feel like they're going to bring Peterson in. They're probably going to talk to McCarthy as well, but I don't know. Uh, I would like to see Lovey back, and Lovey would be my choice down there.
Okay.
A close second would probably be Peterson.
All right. Ma, who do you have?
I'm gonna say Brian Kelly, simply because, excuse me, he's offensive minded. They have Derek Carr. They have a pretty good offense. You know, some young receivers. Like he likes doing trick plays. He likes trying to gamble with the ball. And I mean, defensively, they're a good defensive team. I just feel like New Orleans Saints fans like excitement over like they like offense over defense, seemingly.
Yeah.
To me personally, because I remember back in the day when they had Pat Swilling and Sam Mills, that defense was stout. The offense was trash with Bobby Abreu, but that defense was stout. You know, Jim Moore had them on point. So I just feel like the Saints fans need more so offense because they got so much money tied into Derek Carr, and he's the future. I can't even tell you who the backup is. It was Bridgewater, and it was Jamie.
Rattler.
I don't.
Rattler. Yeah,
yes, right. Yeah, that's right.
Rattler.
So I think Brian Kelly will do a good job now, personally. You know.
All right. Brian Kelly. All right. So that's we have two different names. My guy, I have two names actually. One being Brian Flores for the defensive coordinator out of Minnesota Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like what he's learned, he's already been a head coach for one. He's learned from his stint in Miami. He changed the Minnesota Vikings defense. Now, granted, his last two games haven't looked the best,
right?
But their offense hasn't looked the best either. So I think that had played a lot in the two losses that they had at the end of the season and the one going in the playoffs. The other name that I had or wanted to mention was one of the coaches you saw on the sidelines today. For those that watched the Philadelphia Eagles and the Commanders play, and that coach is Kellen Moore. I think he's done a great job as offensive coordinator. The guys actually had a chance at the Cowboys, the Chargers, and I think this is his best job he's done so far. Now, is it the same offense that we saw the Eagles do years ago? No, but for whatever it is, when you put a Saquon Barkley,
I mean, yeah,
a lot of teams can have that formula and have the players like Saquon, but some of them will still mess it up. He didn't. He's put, I mean, a lot of things on the table right now with getting. He had early injuries with AJ Brown early in the season. Hurst was injured, but they still found a way to continue to play well. And he makes the calls when he needs to make them. Where we've seen run every time I look when I'm in the gym and I'm watching the games or highlights of the Eagles, he always could create that play with Saquon Barkley where he's running like 60 yards, 50 yards, 70 something yards. And the one thing I like is the scheme that he has. He's putting them around. He's making it where Jalen Hurts. He didn't have to do everything with it, and that's one of the things, the reason why I like him so much. And
so
go ahead.
Question. So if he didn't have Saquon, would you still say Kellen Moore? Would you still say?
I would still. It all depends if Saquon is not there and who's the running back, and it all depends on how they were doing with what they had. Now we all know how great Saquon is. I mean, he's right there with Derrick Henry. Me personally, I got Saquon above Derrick Henry just because of what he's done for the whole entire year.
Right.
But I would still say, I mean, for the job of what he's done, the early part of the year we were talking about Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, and they're not meshing. Now we're not even talking about that anymore. Kellen Moore, I think he's kind of squashed all that, and I think he's done a great job as far as utilizing the weapons that he has on the offense side. All right, and we'll continue on with our third question for the night. And that question is regarding the Super Bowl. So the question is, and I'll start off this one. Who are you rooting for in the Super Bowl? So we know we already have the Eagles that's going to be coming out of the NFC. So the question really is who do you think is going to win this current game that's being played right now out of the Chiefs? Or do you think the Bills will have a chance? Me personally, the Chiefs are playing with house money. They're at home. I know before the game they were showing this premise of a Drago slash Rocky event. They had Mahomes being Drago and the Bills being uh, Josh Allen being like Rocky. So I don't know if that's going to be a great analogy today, but me personally, I'm still rooting for the Chiefs to make history. I think this is the best shot they're going to get. Again, the three-peat is hard to do. No team has ever done it. But the way they've won, they've only lost one game out the whole year. And the thing is, they just found a way to win. And they've done it over and over and over and over again. And I think when you have the best quarterback in the game, to me, still that's and even though the numbers this year doesn't show it, he's still, when it comes down to that last drive, you need that one score, he'll make it happen. So I got the Chiefs, and I will be rooting for the Chiefs the rest of the way, should they go ahead and get past this one game. Amon, what do you say? And then I go to West.
Kansas City Chiefs, my New England Patriots. I'm going for the Eagles, man. Screw all that. If the Chiefs play, I'm going for the Eagles. If the Bills play, still going for the Eagles.
All right, so you're going for the Eagles.
Yeah, regardless. Because I mean, I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like Jalen Hurts, man, it just be full circle because the stuff happened in Alabama, and the guy's a good quarterback, and he's a great leader, and he's well spoken as far as like he didn't throw teammates in the bus. He didn't throw temper tantrums. He got there and plays. He got in the contract. Everybody was questioning, should he get this much money? So, and plus, I like Philly. I mean, I low key like Philly. Ever since like the Cunningham, Jerome Brown, Richard White days. I mean, I'm a Raiders fan forever, but plus that's the real reason I can't pick the Chiefs.
Gotcha.
I can't do that, man. That's like a Lakers fan picking Boston Celtics. Can't do that. I'll pick Denver. You know how I feel about Denver. I'll pick the Broncos before I pick the doggone
I got you.
Chiefs. But yeah, I just feel like it'd be cool. I like Mahomes though. I like Mahomes. I ain't gonna lie, I like Mahomes. I just feel like this year, I don't know. It's just like something off. I don't know if it's because they just been comfortable. They've been what, 4 straight Super Bowls or 3 straight Super Bowls or something?
It's gonna be 3, and they're going for 3 in
Tampa Bay with Brady.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. So it might just be jet lag. I'm not jet lag, just kind of like just easy habit, whatever you want to call it. So I just feel like a 3-peat would be cool, but it's Kansas City, so I can't root for them. Call me a hater. Call me Skip Bayless or whatever you want to call it. I can't do it. Go
right.
Go Philly.
All right. Wes, who do you got? Who you rooting for, man?
Well, I don't know about rooting, but I will say I'm with the Chiefs. You're right, man. I mean, you got Mahomes, you got Andy Reid. That team just wins. Even if they don't score points, they win.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you a stat. The reason I think it's going to be the Chiefs, even so, and I might eat crow. I don't know. I haven't turned on this game, but in the postseason, in the last, we'll say, decade in the postseason, there are 3 quarterbacks with winning-ish percentages when it comes down to playoff games and needing to score that go-ahead or game-winning drive in that fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
The third top QB is Tom Brady, about 46%, where he was 4 of 10 or 4 of whatever. Then you have Drew Brees after that with about a 56%. The number one quarterback in the postseason in this era is Patrick Mahomes, 100%, 100%, 7 of 7 in games in the postseason where you got to score to win in that last quarter, that last drive when it's needed. So, I mean, in Mahomes we trust. That's just where it's at.
Yeah.
Would I like to see a 3-peat? Not necessarily. I mean, I think, I would like to see the Bills mainly just because of their history of getting there and losing, and But I mean, it's no secret that ever since the Bills let Mahomes fall in that draft to the Chiefs, he has owned them ever since.
Yep.
And I think that defense is going to be, they're going to be on their A game for sure. He always has them ready to go, and they're they know when to blitz. They blitz more than anybody, and they do it well. I mean, they have not scored 30 points or more in the season and won. So that means they have kept their opponents at under 30, 29. So I'm with it. I'm with the Chiefs.
Well, right now they currently have they're losing by 3 points. The Chiefs are. It's in the early, it's still in midways in the second quarter. 7 minutes 55 seconds to go. So we'll see what happens. It does say that no, yeah, it looks like it was one turnover, fumble lost by Patrick Mahomes. So, but one thing I was going to add on to what Wes had to say about that, they are kind of getting healthier at the right time. I mean, you have DeAndre Hopkins still, you have Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown coming back, Pacheco, Kareem Hunt. Travis Kelce actually was looking like Travis Kelce last week when they played. So that's kind of bad for the other team, whoever they have to face, if they happen, should they win. But we shall see by in maybe an hour and a half. We'll see. All
So
right, so we're gonna
what
go
is the
move
score?
on
You
to
said
the
down three.
yeah. Oh yeah. So it's not gonna be long before we find out. So moving on to the NBA. Recently, Anthony Davis stated that the Lakers were right there, but they needed to add a center. Do you agree or do you disagree with what he stated in order to make a deep run into the playoffs? Wes, I start with you. I go to Mon, and I'll finish up.
Well, I think he's just tired of playing the five, to be honest with you. But I don't blame him. I mean, some big fellas in there, and he's better at the power forward position anyway. Um, but I will say, I mean, he might, there might be some truth to it. They do need uh, help on the bench for a big man. I can see the need. I think their depth this year is much better than the previous years for sure. Um, I mean, they hit a home run in the draft.
Mhm.
They did give the I'm not going to say anything bad about Bronny getting in there, but I mean that could have been a spot where maybe, hey, I pick up the big man,
Right,
but
right,
yeah, it
right.
is what it is.
Yep.
Uh, but I could see them, trade deadline going after big. I'd like to see somebody, a veteran like, an O'Neal or a Horford, and maybe even Steven Adams or someone in there that can get you some tough boards and be physical. But we all know that my man, the Brow, is on borrowed time because sooner or later he is going to miss a stretch of games and is not going to help out when you have a 40-plus-year-old LeBron playing, 32, 34 minutes straight.
Mhm.
So uh, I think there's a little truth to it. I do think that a big would help, but what do you have to give up for that big?
Right. What do you say about it, Mont?
I agree with Wes. I mean, a big would help because AD has said on plenty of occasions he didn't like playing the five, he loved playing the four. I would say, I mean, there's plenty of you don't have to like get a superstar big man. You just need to get the rebounds, be physical. Like I said, Steve Adams, heck, find DeMarcus Cousins. I mean, Dwight Howard out there. I mean, I know Dwight is not what he used to be, but he can pound, which is still he's still in shape. Given his excluding the personal stuff with Dwight. I know he been with some stuff with that. But but
Yeah. We don't have to worry about him and Diddy parties right now.
I know, right? But like I said, I just feel like any big man who would a good decent big man. You don't have to be like I said, you don't have to like try to get a Rudy Gobert or somebody who's like a name. You just get somebody on the end of the bench or go G League. Somebody Hassan Whiteside, is he still playing? I mean,
We haven't heard about him. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
he's
I've
still
not
around.
heard
I can
about
check
him in a
for us.
while, but
Keep going though.
yeah. So I mean, it's guys over there. I just have to find them. I mean, no, look, it's the Lakers.
no.
Just put out, say, hey, we need a big man. Okay, but yeah, I think AD, but like you said, he's on borrowed time too. He may do the Kawhi Leonard situation, just sit out for a couple of weeks until he's fully rested for the playoffs. But the last 2 games he's been balling with against Boston they was killing, against Golden State they were killing.
Just to make a note of that, Hassan Whiteside is no longer in the league. He is, however, playing for the Puerto Rican basketball team.
See?
So
There you
Okay.
go.
that's as of 2023, but he is not currently playing this year,
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought you were going to go to Michiwa Dragons or something, but
though.
yeah, I mean that's interesting. Okay, which is it's pretty wild because I mean when he was a Heat, that just shows you how much of a teammate killer Jimmy Butler is. I mean, my man was balling as a Heat, and then I don't know what happened.
Jimmy came in. That's what happened. Jimmy came in and started barking orders. That's all.
Now, in my opinion, for the Lakers, from what I watched recently, I mean at least the last time I looked at, we were in the 5th spot out of the West. I'm gonna just say it like this: it doesn't matter at this current stage. Yes, a center would help us getting a rim protector. Yes, but that still doesn't alleviate the fact we would almost need that rim protector, and he has to be at least get 10 to 12 points every night. But we also need a wing defender, because when it comes down to playing against teams like the Denver Nuggets, when you have Jokic, and you have to go against guys like the duo they have there, then you have OKC, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I'm sorry, nobody to me is on that level right now. You have Ja Morant that's came back in this year, and he hasn't had any issues. Knock on wood. As of right now,
Mhm.
he's currently playing pretty well, and he's keeping himself out of trouble. You got Zach Edey with that team, and Jackson. So you definitely need to have the big man, yes. But I think they're gonna need not only the big man, but some other piece to go along with it. Um, Jimmy Butler would be lovely to get right about now, but the Heat are not going to go with that deal.
No.
And that's not going to happen. I don't think that's going to
I
happen.
would, yeah,
Not right now,
I would
because Pat Riley is too smart of a GM and president, all that to let go of him without getting anything back in return. And I don't blame him.
Pat Riley traded at the time, busted up Lamar Odom, old Brian, what the cat name with the dreads, Brian, what was his first last name was, and Karan, a 1 year Karan Butler for Shaq. And like I said, okay. So it had to be like something kind of dumb with that. Odom turned out to be all right.
He did.
Karan turned out to be okay later on.
So he started dating a Kardashian.
Exactly. Yeah. She put that witch's brew on one good time.
Oh man, yeah, yeah.
Allegedly.
I definitely would not. I wouldn't bring Jimmy to LA.
No, it's not gonna
to LA at all. I mean, that's kind of it, right? Like you have you got a pretty decent bench. You're young. Your oldest player is LeBron, right?
Right.
But who do you give up to bring it in? And that's why I think somebody like a Steven Adams would be fantastic. Just, a veteran's not going to cost you a lot. It'll cost you, a veteran minimal more than likely. Plus, he's, coming from a team where they have young depth as well. So that might be something to pull off and maybe, get a couple of G League players and swap it up some cash and call it a day. But you just need someone scrappy, someone that can go in there and put an elbow in Joker, somebody that can go in and play these tough minutes that are serviceable minutes, because you're going to have to, have your guys come off the floor for a stretch to rest, to get back and perform. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. I kind of think they're going to fall to, that 6th, 7th spot, but it's not easy playing in the West. So, we'll see. We'll see if they make any additions, but I do like their team now, but they're definitely going to have to think of something moving forward as it gets playoff time for that. I think that 5 depth.
Now, the one last thing I was going to make a mention of it for the Lakers. Learn from what you did in the past. Definitely do not trade away the young pieces you just got just to salvage for a now or right now season. I would say, if anything, wait to let those young players continue to develop, because when it's all said and done, they were speaking about it yesterday at the game when they played against the Warriors. Steph Curry and LeBron are not going to play forever. One of those
Okay.
guys, and it could be at the end of this year, could say, "Hey, you know what? I've had a fantastic career, going to the Hall of Fame, one of the greatest to ever play it." They could easily do that next year.
Mm-hmm.
When LeBron is actually finished, that salary that he demands will go for a couple players. I'm pretty sure, maybe even three. So I'd say keep what you have. Don't trade away any major pieces, especially the young pieces. Just let them develop, and we have to be patient and wait.
Mm-hmm.
Ma, did you have anything else before we go to the next question?
No, I'm good. I'm about to say they might try to trade for Zion. The Zion too big.
Could be good. With him, it's a lot. It's upside, but it's like, how much do you want to deal with him missing so many games? But we'll see. We'll see. Last question. Most of us were predicting the Boston Celtics to win this year's NBA championship. Do you still believe in them, or do you believe in a new team? Amon, I'll go with you, and then I'll finish with Wes, and I'll go last.
I say go back a couple questions ago. Heck nah. I want to say something else. I was going picking the Celtics. I actually had the Philadelphia 76ers winning it, to be honest with you. But
You and I both, but yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't know what happened with them.
I can tell you what happened. Embiid happened, but keep continue.
Yeah, true. But Boston, they could get there. They can get there. I just feel like they won it, so it's kind of like, whatever. We won, and they feel. I think the cockiness is like, we're young enough to go back later on. We don't get this year.
Mm-hmm.
We're not in the like win, like kind of Lakers like need to win right now because LeBron's 40.
Right.
I mean, Tatum and Brown like what 27, 26, give or take.
Give or take, yep.
So I never really picked them to win. I thought Philly this was their year, or at least I gave Miami a shot before Jimmy Butler went all ape-ish on Pat Riley. But yeah, so I guess they could win. Don't know, don't care. Sorry, Celtics fans.
What do you got, Wes?
I mean, I think they have as good a chance as any. I wasn't expecting Cleveland to be as hot as they are, and I kind of felt like OKC was going to be a couple of years away, but I think they're ahead of the Timberwolves right now, and I figured the Timberwolves would be back, but I've totally changed my mind. I think you know they play well together, but I I don't know, man. I don't feel that it's going to be Boston's year. Um, but they can make a run. I mean, if you get hot and you can get hot down the stretch, they are a dangerous team. Now, Cleveland can't take their foot off the gas, and I think they have a very well-rounded team. Where I mean, you're
Right.
talking about their 5 guys can. I mean, they're shooting double doubles all day. I mean, pretty impressive to watch.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that was it. I think Boston. If they have a shot because they're Boston.
Right.
But I believe that it's just not going to be their year. I think it's going to be the year of OKC and Cleveland and some of these other new guys coming up. And I'm not taking freaking Joker's Joker. And Russell Westbrook is playing like Russell Westbrook of 2001, which is odd to me. But
It is odd.
but Denver's right there. But at the beginning of the year, I told you it was going to be what I say. It's going to be like the old school Red Auerbach and all that good stuff, where you're going to have You're gonna have your Celtics and your Lakers. We're
Mm-hmm.
treating it like it's back in the day of the old game Fast Break with Magic Johnson or Larry and Bird or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Speaking of
Double
that, that's
double.
probably the only thing me and Amon was happy about this week was the fact that the Lakers just blew out the Celtics the other night.
Right.
That we were definitely
Right.
happy about that. I'm looking at the highlights and I'm like, oh my God, we did that? We did what?
Yeah.
I know.
Right.
But
But is the tale of two city, right? I mean, what?
right.
Yeah, it's just like it seems like they are just absolutely on cloud nine,
Yeah.
just all-star performance, and then they just kind of
You
shat the
get
bed
blown out by like the Charlotte
when
Hornets or
it comes
something like
back
that.
Right.
and lose to a team they shouldn't lose to
Yeah.
by like double digits, like Orlando or someone.
Mhm.
I'm just waiting for it, and then it starts kind of that roller coaster effect.
For John, before you speak, I want to add something to what Wes was saying. Only reason I picked Cleveland because Cleveland reminds me of Atlanta Hawks from a few years ago. And they had Kyle Korver and Josh Smith, Paul Millsap, and Joe Johnson. That team was number one in the East. They was
Joe
destroying
Johnson.
everybody. And what happened? They get to the finals, the conference final, but he just fizzled out. So that's the only reason I don't really trust Cleveland. I mean, just because I don't really trust Milwaukee is because they have the most overrated coach in NBA history as their coach. Doc Rivers, I don't trust him to, he's had all these great teams, they ain't won nothing besides that one championship. That was because of KG, Ray Allen, and Tom Thibodeau. But hey, once again, Celtics fan, bite me. I don't care. All right, John, go ahead.
Now, I'm just going to give everybody the rundown of what the East looks like. If it was to end today, the number one spot would be the Cleveland 36-9 record, Boston 32-14, New York 30-16 losses, Milwaukee 25-18. The Pacers are 25-20. The Detroit Pistons are 23-22 in the sixth spot. Orlando is 24-23. And Miami is sitting in the eighth spot right now at 22-22 with all the crazy mess that they had with Jimmy Butler. Now, I said all that to say this. Early on before the season started, I had picked the 76ers. Of course, I'm definitely taking that back. They're 17-27 right now. 18 and a half games back. I am a true Lakers fan, but if I had to bet right now, I had to give my life savings on who was going to make it out the East. I'm sorry, I'm not going with Cleveland. I would say the Boston Celtics because in the series, when it comes down to it, you've got champions that have just won. When they need to get everything together, they're going to do what they need to do. You got Brown, you got Tatum, and the rest of those guys. You still got Holiday, man. It's not like they lost those.
Plus, they got good coaching too, though. I mean, I talking crap, but they do have a great coach.
Yeah, their coaching is exactly. He puts them in the right position. Now, do they follow it all the time? No. And does winning starts to get you complacent? Yes, it does at times. It's just natural. So me personally, if it's all said and done, I think the Celtics will be at least coming out of the East when it's all said and done. That's my take on that. All right, so that will complete the show for us tonight. As always, if you like the show, please subscribe to our channel, Level Up Sports Talk on YouTube. We also have a platform where you can, we're coming up where it'll be on Instagram as well as Facebook. Continue to, like us and hit us up if you have any questions or in regards to the show. And for all of that, everyone have a blessed week, and we'll see you next time.
All right, take care.
All right, see y'all later.